Greetings, Great Witch here. Today we're going to talk about some vehicles that you can use for stunt races that aren't as expensive as some of the ones that are behind me, because we know that these are really expensive. And these vehicles came into the game designed for these races, but there are other vehicles that you can use that, are just as good and not as expensive. And, if you're like me, who's, making money for everything that we get in here, you really do need, some other vehicles. And some of the new ones they have aren't really that good anyways. I use this one right here. Is the Dinka Jester. It's between $240,000 to $350,000, and I think it outperforms both of the new sports cars that we got. It's just, it has better handling. That's major importance. And the Masacro, another one, between $275,000, $380,000, whichever one you wanted to buy. If you want the liveries, you're going to spend a little bit more money, but definitely a great handling car. This one right here, the Elegy RH8. This one's free with Social Club. I've seen a lot of people win with this car, but I don't see a lot of people driving it, and it's perfect for these types of races. We used to use it all the time back in the day with doing old versions of stunt races. It's still good. Now, this car here, the Bugatti Zentorno, another great car for stunting. It's $725,000. It's not cheap, but it is cheaper than $2.5 million. And this car handles great. It's easy to control in the air, which is a big plus in doing some of these jumps and stuff like that. Another vehicle, I wasn't going to add this one, but with these new races, this car is actually one that performs really good. It has really good handling. It's not as fast as some of the other supercars, but it does handle really good, and that's a important fact in cornering and stuff like that. For the old races, it was too low for the ramps, but for these stunt races, this is a really good car, and for $500,000, you really can't go wrong, because it does, it handles great. Now this one right here, the Entity XF, it's not cheap still, $795,000, but it is cheaper than most of the other ones that just came out, and it handles just as well, if not better. This is one of those other cars that was always used for stunting, and it's a great car for it. Alright, let's go check out some of the other stuff that we got. Like this car here, it's good and fast, but it just is not as good as the Masacro. And I've been winning a lot of races with the Masacro. I think other people are starting to catch on too. Alright, for compacts, you really have no choice. There's only 3 cars that are actually even comparable, and this is the best one out of them. It's the Grody Brioso, it's $155,000. The other one's the Panto or the Rhapsody. I don't know, they just don't have it. The Panto is a nightmare in tubes too. Now for muscle car, the Vapid Blade at $160,000. This is probably the best muscle car that you can buy in the game. It has handling, speed, everything that you want. I love this car. This is the only one that I will use in muscle car races now. I was using this one. It's the DeClassy Sabre Turbo. You can, get the regular version right off the street. You can buy it from Benny's. I don't recommend taking this car to Benny's, because hydraulics in stunt races really do not work out too well. I tried it. It was kind of horrible. Now for the off-road, this BF injection at $16,000 is a really good car. It's fast, it's nimble, it's not real prone to tipping over. It can in corners, but it's a lot better than most of the other cars in off-road. Another good one is the Rusty Karen Rebel, $3,000. You go through, you can mod it out and have it all sand rail and Astros spacey looking, and it looks pretty cool, and it handles and rides, fully modded out pretty good. And another really one surprising is the Canis Bodhi. This car is fast, it handles good, it's surprisingly well for stunt things, and you'd be amazed. Alright, we'll come in here and check out some of the bikes. Now my main go-to bike is still right now is the Baddie. It's fast, it's nimble, It handles the stunts and landings real good. It's easy to control in the air. $15,000. You really can't go wrong with it. Fully modded out. It's an awesome bike. And comparing to the others, it's probably the best one. The next one up would be the Dinka Double T. It's $12,000. This one handles better than the Batty. It just doesn't have the top speed that the Batty has. Now this one is the Dinka Akuma, $9,000. It's the fastest bike off the starting line. Has awesome acceleration. Its top speed is nowhere near as good as the Batty, and it doesn't handle as good as the Double T, but it is a lot faster. And if you can get it off the starting point, you can pretty much lead the race with it. Now this bike here I put in, it's the Western Gargoyle. The only reason I really put it in is it's a really good race bike, and if you have MC restrictions, you can't really ride some of the other bikes, this is the bike you want. It's a lot faster than the Innovation. It's definitely built for those races. Now the Nagasaki BF400 came into the game for these races, and it's $95,000. And between riding this and some of the other bikes in it, it's, you can really get the same thing for the Sanchez, and it's only $7,000. I mean, it's not as cool looking as that one, but, it's a major price difference, and they both do basically the same thing. Alright, well, this is Grey Witch. I hope this helped you out, and I will see you next time. Peace!